Your 2020 NBA champions are the Los Angeles Lakers. The bubble is over. Game 6, Heat Lakers. First and foremost, what happened? The Lakers defense intensified. The Heat couldn't get their shots up, they couldn't get going offensively, and then they had no answer for AD, and then lineups. Vogel made an adjustment. He put in Caruso over Dwight Howard. He went a little smaller. Now, Spoelstra stuck with the same lineup, which I understand they carried them throughout that final series, but I think if Spoelstra would have went smaller and maybe put in Olynyk over Bam, that would have made AD go to the perimeter more to guard instead of AD just sitting in the paint, ready and waiting to swat shots, block shots, and just disrupt everything. So I think if Spoelstra would have went smaller, it would have helped the Heat. But besides that, the Heat supporting cast just didn't show up in Game 6. Jay Crowder, I have no idea what he was doing, what he was seeing, or why, or what, but he was missing open shots, makeable shots he was missing that could have helped his team. Hero didn't play the best in Game 6. Robinson wasn't playing his best. And then Dragic played, who's a big offensive force for them. But this was Dragic's first game back from being hurt. He couldn't get into a flow. He couldn't get into a rhythm. I mean, how could he? It's Game 6. Like, he barely played. So, all in all, I think Jimmy was tired. Jimmy had a monster Game 5. And I feel like he was just burnt out. And the Lakers are just pissed. They lost in the black Mamba jersey, so they were like, you know what, we're going to get this job done. We're not going to play no more. So the Lakers just went off. So all in all, shout out to the Heat. Shout out to Jimmy freaking Buckets, okay? Jimmy Buckets is the man. Now, all the teams that said Jimmy's this, his leadership, his style is toxic, etc. No. It's y'all. Not him. Jimmy, this was his first season with the Heat, and he brought them to an NBA Finals, led his team into the finals. Okay? And the Sixers are included in that conversation. The Sixers, I'm a Sixers fan, and I'm sick to my stomach that we don't have Jimmy anymore, because Jimmy is a star. He showed up on the biggest stage there is in the NBA and showed that he can take a team, put them on his back, and lead them. So shout out to the Heat. They're full of scrappy young players, D3 players who weren't drafted, and I think it's a great example to show you don't have to go to big school like Kansas, Kentucky, Duke to play in the league. You don't have to go to big schools to be successful. So I think that was great to see. Now, the Los Angeles Lakers, MAMBA season, let's just say that. Crazy season it's been, all right? The Black Lives Matter movement, the turmoil in this country, COVID, the start and stop of the season, everything that happened. Kobe Bryant dying at the beginning of the year. This win was everything for the Lakers. It's the Lakers' first title since 2010. And me as an NBA fan, I'm not even a Lakers fan hardcore. I was happy to see the Lakers bring a championship home for MAMBA, for Bean. It meant everything. So I think the Lakers were the favorites, and rightfully so, and they lived up to the hype. They lived up to the expectation. Now, this is AD and LeBron's first season together, and they got a ring. AD's first ring, Dwight Howard's first ring, Rondo's second ring, Philly boys Markieff Morris and Dion Waiters got rings, Dudley got a ring. So the Lakers team, well-deserved. Shout out to them. All right, let's talk about legacy. Let's talk about LeBron James, all right, and the Laker legacy. AD and LeBron is a duo. They broke records on the Lakers already, their first season together. Their percentages in these finals were greater than all the other great Laker duos in the history of the Lakers. So big deal, big moves. Now, the GOAT conversation. Who's the greatest? Who's the best? This whole thing is subjective. For me, AI, Kobe will always be the GOATs of all time. Don't matter. Don't matter if LeBron can have 10 rings. I don't care. I'm still going to feel how I feel about AI and Kobe. AI, pound for pound. I'm from Philly. He was a Sixer. I watched him play growing up. He changed the culture. MAMBA. I grew to respect him. The way he played the game. The way his MAMBA mentality. Like, I will always think AI and MAMBA are the GOATs. That's just me. Now, MJ, of course, I know about him. I watched his tape, but he wasn't my era. I didn't watch him play growing up. LeBron, I'm watching his greatness now. And all I have to say is this is LeBron's 4th ring with his 3rd franchise. Big deal. Great deal. LeBron is the man. He makes his team better. I used to not like him. I used to think he was just a huge guy. He used to just bully people in the lane, and that's how he was dominant. But he's improved his shot, his life outside the court, his example, the kind of person that he seems to be, and the example that he is for the league. All in all, no, you gotta give LeBron his respect. Like he said, give him his respect. You don't have to think he's the GOAT forever and ever and ever, but you gotta put him up there as a GOAT because of just his resume speaks for itself. The records he breaks in points, assists, his finals records, his 4th finals MVP. He's broken a record with having a finals MVP with 3 different franchises. That's never happened. So LeBron, he's in a league all of his own, just like I think AI is, Jordan is, Kobe is. It's like you can't kind of judge these players because they're just in leagues of their own. You can't say one is greater than the other because they're on their own lane, they're on their own path. So who's the GOAT is subjective. I got mine, you got yours. The talk will still talk, the conversation will still be had no matter how many rings LeBron has. And lastly, happy Indigenous Peoples Day, representing my people, my culture. I bought this shirt from Urban Native Arab brand, representing my people and supporting them. So shout out to them. And I can't wait to see you next season for more Hoops with Carm.